On Global TV News Prime, President Tinubu flags off inaugural airlift of 2024 intending pilgrims to Saudi Arabia. Former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele gets 300 million naira bail, denies 684.5 million naira note printing. Tax now highest revenue source to Federation. Rivers Commissioner Chinedu Mom resigns city's toxicity in Fubara's cabinet. And the foreign scenes on the skies cancel foreign trips as Russia attacks northeast Ukraine. On the sports news, Lagos State University to co-host Best Federation of African University Sport Festival. Hello and welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime Young Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Deacon Michael. President Bola Tinubu has flagged off the inaugural airlift of 2024 Hajj pilgrims from Nigeria to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The ceremony took place at the Sir Ahmadu Bello International Airport, Benin Kebbi, on today with several dignitaries in attendance. The president, who was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, urged the intending pilgrims to pray for peace, unity and progress of the country. He also charged the intending pilgrims to abide by all rules and regulations of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and urged them to avoid any illicit acts capable of affecting the integrity of their Hajj. Kebbi State Governor Dr. Nasir Idris said this year's Hajj signifies a sacred journey for thousands of devoted pilgrims who embarked on a spiritual voyage to the Holy Land, noting that Hajj is a time-honored tradition that holds profound significance for Muslims around the world. And now the federal government has suspended the controversial cybersecurity levy on electronic banking transactions. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris and the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy Bosun Tijani disclosed this while briefing State House correspondent after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House in Abuja. Kikolo Mokere has more details.
The Minister of Information and the Minister of Communication says the cybersecurity levy was thoroughly discussed as the FEC meeting. He noted that President is not insensitive to the feelings of Nigerians. He says the policy is undergoing a review.
That policy has been put on hold. That is the position of government for now. It is undergoing some form of review. It was reiterated in council yesterday. You know that today's council is a continuation of the council meeting of yesterday. So I can tell you the cyber security levy has been put on hold. It is being reviewed by government.
To deliver on this project, it will give us the immense opportunity to connect all these critical institutions. So this is something that is, of course, of significant importance for the digital economy and all the companies within the sector, but I think for Nigerians as well.
The Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, also stated that President Bola Tinubu directed that all memos seeking to procure petrol-dependent vehicles should no longer be given approval.
There's the opportunity. There are 30,000 conversion kits coming in. That's through the government initiative, and any private sector person that is enterprising can also bring their own. You can convert Keke Marwa, you can convert buses, you can convert cars to CNG. You just put the fuel, they put the tank in the boot, and you are virtually ready to go once they've wired it up.
The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Management, Festus Keyamo, who also briefed on the Council's resolution, says the federal government approved introduction of toll gate payment for access into all federal airports across the country, including VIPs and foreigners. He noted that the era of very important personalities approaching the airport authority for the complimentary e-tag to skip payment for the airport's service is now over, as it has been making the sector lose revenue. The Minister of Aviation further spoke on the issues surrounding efficiency on the part of airline owners, saying government will ensure the auditing of all airlines to ensure and ban inefficient airlines from operations.
All manners of VIPs would approach us for what they call complimentary ticket or complimentary e-tags. or complimentary stickers, whereby you see them coming into the airports, our airports nationwide. They don't pay the access fees. They don't pay for parking. They don't pay for essential services at the airports. And they are VIPs. And I told myself and my team, I said, not under my watch. It will not happen. If this tradition had been existing for years, I will not allow it to happen. Because it is inconceivable that in our country, it is the VIPs that don't pay for services, but it is the poor men that pay for services.
Keyamo further disclosed that the council approved for the ministry the purchase and installation of recovery system equipment to the tune of 4.2 billion naira. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Special Advisor on National Economic Council, Rukayat El-Rufai, says economic difficulties faced by any country helps its government and nation becomes innovative there by boosting efficiency and cutting costs of governance. Rukayat made their remarks during the 5th edition of the National Productivity Summit in the nation's capital. Anthony Mamadou has a report.
The federal government's move to increase the country's productivity potential took a bold step as stakeholders converged in the nation's capital to discuss ways of improving the country's productivity through science and technology. Rukayat El-Rufai, who represented the Vice President Kashim Shettima, said the removal of fuel subsidy pushed Nigeria to innovation edge. Senator Dickett Plank, Chairman Senate Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity, assured of the Senate's support.
With the challenges of the current economy, with the high interest rate, there is actually risk for the economy to contract. And because of the high costs, companies and even us public sector, we need to go back and think innovatively on how to still expand the economy in innovative ways amidst the current challenges. You can see, for example, the removal of the fuel subsidy is triggering exploring the use of alternate fuels. You can see the President's statements and mandate given to the MDAs to adopt CNG buses. That is an alternative. So that's what difficulty always pushes human beings to innovate. And you can boost efficiencies or cut costs.
This is a president who is futuristic in nature, who wants to reposition Nigeria in such a way that Nigeria can attain a great future. And there's no way this country can attain a good future if we are not efficient, if we are not productive, if we are not innovative, if we are not scientific, and if we are not technological in nature.
Director General National Productivity Center, Dr. Nasiru Raji Mustafa, said the summit will drive the country to its goals through science and technology. Chairman, House Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity, Honorable Adegboyega Adefarati, said Nigeria has no choice but to embrace technological advancement.
To promote the importance of science, technology and innovation as a great driver of productivity and development of our nation.
The main objective, among others, is to tap the vast knowledge of experts in the science and technology and leverage on their experience to assist the federal government in achieving higher national productivity.
Other stakeholders expressed their stance on ways of achieving higher productivity and national development by leveraging on science, technology and innovation.
Nigeria is experiencing hardship because there's no productivity in the country. And so long as we refuse to be productive, there's no amount of prayer that will take us out of suffering and challenges.
It is hoped that state and non-state actors in the science and technology sectors will support the effort to improve the nation's productivity through science and technology. Anthony Momodu reporting for Global Television.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has implored journalists to support it in mobilizing prospective registrants for the continuous voter registration exercise scheduled to commence in Edo and Ondo State on the 27th May. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, made the call during the Commission's second quarterly consultative meeting with representatives of media organizations held at INEC headquarters, Abuja. Our correspondent tells us more. The INEC chairman, Professor Yakubu, in his address appeals to media organizations to amplify awareness in mobilizing prospective registrants for the exercise, particularly on the need to register early and not wait until the deadline.
The Commission therefore appeals to the media to join us in mobilizing prospective registrants for the exercise, particularly on the need to register early and not wait until the deadline approaches, when the registration centers will be inundated by 11th hour registrants.
Yakubu also urged journalists to report electioneering activities with respect to the rule of law.
Again, we seek the support of the media in encouraging voters to locate and pick up their cards, as was done in the past. We look forward to reading your reports of the campaigns, as some of you have done in the past.
Responding on behalf of journalists, National Chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, represented by the National Secretary, Achike Chudi, stressed on the importance of transparent journalism in advancement of the country's democratic governance.
Even at the darkest period of the history of this country, has always stood up to be counted, and they have always done their bit. And with regards to these elections that are forthcoming, I want to assure the INEC chairman, I want to assure members of the high table who are also here for the same purpose. I want to assure the citizens of this country that the media will not be found wanting.
Edikan Michael reporting for Global TV News. Aviation Union, including the National Union of Air Transport Employee Association of Nigeria, the Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals, and the Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations and Technical and Recreational Employees have instructed Nigeria Meteorology Agency staff to begin strike action on May 20, 2024. The strike stems from alleged management failure to address 45 months of minimum wage arrears and consequential adjustment for staff members. The Rivers State Commissioner for Education, Professor Chinedu Mom, has resigned from the cabinet of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Mom is the third reappointed commissioner to tender his resignation before the former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Professor Zaccheaus Adaigo, and former Commissioner for Finance, Isaac Kamalu, also resigned their appointment a few weeks ago. Both Anna Goz and Kalalu resigned after Fubara directed that they should be redeployed to the Ministry of Special Duties and Ministry for Employment, Generation and Empowerment, respectively. The Public Complaints Commission says lack of funding has been hampering its performance of providing justice to the people. The Commissioner of Public Complaints Commission, Ambibola Ayo Yusuf Mati, is known at the summit organized by Youth Empowerment and Social Justice Foundation in collaboration with the Commission in Abuja. Samuel Odi has the details.
The Honorable Commissioner of Public Complaints Commission says the aim of the summit is to provide quality services to the public. He says the Commission is empowered to conduct proactive and reactive investigation on public and federal offices.
And all cases that we settle here also comes at a cost. So everything is the funding. And we're so delicate that we can't just get funding from anybody, because there's nobody you cannot investigate. So our funding has to be well structured. And as for the awareness, we have an ombudsman radio. We're just waiting for to get our frequency, but by the end of the week, they should start online. That's Instagram, Twitter. The awareness thing is coming up.
Others who spoke on the summit were:
this summit is vital because it addresses the numerous unheard complaints of citizens who have faced injustice over the years. Our foundation is partnering with the Public Complaints Commission, PCC, to ensure that these voices are heard and justice is served.
We created platforms. These platforms are using the social media, the WhatsApp, the internet services, the Twitter handles, the phone calls, the written petition, the walk-in into the office to report these issues. And the office is directly responsible to the Office of the Inspector General of Police through the Public Relations Officer. Therefore, the cycle, because of the coming of the Public Relations Officer, and directly to the Inspector General of Police. That cycles give a relief to members of the public, as they will not have much contact with police officers on the ground.
Samuel Odi reporting for Global Television.
The British Council is set to hold its annual Global Africa Conference 2024 aimed at addressing regional and global challenges. The Regional Director of Higher Education Program in Sub-Saharan Africa, Adetomi Soyinka, made this known in a media briefing in Abuja. Our correspondent Queen Agaba was there for Global Television.
The theme of this year's conference is building sustainable and relevant tertiary education institutions and systems in Africa. The Regional Director, Higher Education Program in Sub-Saharan Africa, Adetomi Soyinka, says the conference will prioritize the development and growth of sustainable and relevant tertiary education institutions, as well as build capacity needs of Africa's most vital stakeholders and constituencies.
We want to encourage institutions to also look inwards into the continent for those sort of solutions that can support the development of the African education system. Our strategy here is to ensure that we are continuing the conversation from last year's global conference, again because there were a lot of African participants there that were part of that event.
Speaking on the significance of the conference and Nigeria as its host country this year, the First Secretary of the British High Commission, James Odongo, says the conference underscores the strength of partnership between Nigeria and the United Kingdom.
When it is hosted later this year in November, Going Global Africa 2024 will just be the latest in a series of events and moments over the last year or so, which really underscore the strength of partnership between Nigeria and the UK in education and in higher education specifically. As Chris mentioned, last November at Going Global in Edinburgh, Nigeria launched their transnational education guidelines, and that was launched by Professor Tahir Mamman, Federal Minister for Education, with the UK Secretary of State for Education, Right Honourable Gillian Keegan. And I think that was a really, really significant moment and will provide so many advantages of the nature Chris laid out.
The conference is scheduled to hold from 26 to 28 of November 2024 in Abuja. Queen Agaba reporting for Global Television.
The World Health Organization has pre-qualified a new dengue vaccine known as TAC-003, developed by Takeda. This live attenuated vaccine, which incorporates weakened forms of the 4 dengue virus serotypes, received World Health Organization's approval on May 10, 2024, marking it as the second dengue vaccine to achieve such recognition. World Health Organization recommends TAC-003 for children between the ages of 6 to 16 years residing in the areas with high incidence and transmission rate of dengue. You're watching News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platform using Global TV NG and other handles national on the screen. When News Prime returns, Nigeria tops Africa's oil production with 1.28 million barrels per day in April. These and other top stories coming right after this break. To stay with us. You're watching Global Television live broadcasts of News Prime. Many thanks for staying with us. On the foreign scene, the White House has told Congress it wants to send more than $1 billion in new weapons to Israel. This comes despite the United States being opposed to a full-scale invasion by the Israeli military on the southern Gaza city of Rafah. It said last week it had paused a shipment of bombs to Israel over concerned civilians would be killed if used in densely populated areas. The new package confirmed by the United States media must still be approved by lawmakers. It will include $700 million in tank ammunition, $500 million in tactical vehicles, and $60 million in mortar rounds. And now a Rwandan court rejected an appeal by a prominent opposition figure to have his previous convictions removed, disqualifying him from challenging President Paul Kagame in the July elections. Bernard Natanga, 55, a fierce critic of Rwanda's iron-fisted ruler, had petitioned the High Court in Kigali in February in a bid to set aside convictions dating back more than a decade. It's the second opposition figure to be prevented from running into the July 15 election against Kagame, who is widely expected to win a new term in office. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky proposed all foreign travels of the Russian forces entered part of the northeastern border town of the Kavins region. The police department says the situation in the city is extremely difficult and calls on the residents to evacuate. But the Ukraine military says it's particularly pushed back Russian forces from part of the region. The Russian offensive in the northeast Ukraine began on Friday, while with a cross-border incursion in Kyiv, the United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, in concluding a trip to Ukraine, and says the United States will provide an additional $2 billion to Ukraine. As we get to business news, the federal government has approved a special purpose vehicle to support the delivery of an additional 90,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable for universal access to internet across Nigeria. This is a separate legal entity created to achieve a specific goal of project. In this context, these will manage a fiber optics project, overseeing its implementation, finances, and operations. The Minister of Communications, Innovations and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, said in a statement that the project will strengthen the national backbone for internet access and optimize the use of 8 submarine cables already landed in the country. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries has said Nigeria's average daily crude oil production increased to 1.28 million barrels per day in April. This was contained in its latest monthly oil market report. OPEC gathers data on crude oil production from 2 sources: direct communication from member countries and secondary communication such as energy intelligence platforms. The report indicates that Nigeria's current output marks a 4.07% increase from 1.23 million barrels per day recorded in March, representing the first month-on-month production. Nigeria's headline inflation rate has increased to 33.69% in April 2024, up from 33.20% recorded in March 2024. The National Bureau of Statistics said this represents a month-over-month increase of 0.49% point in the headline inflation rate, according to the Consumer Price Index report. The NBS stated in a report on Wednesday, comparing year-on-year data, the inflation rate in April 2024 was 11.47 percentage points higher than in April 2023, where it stood at 22.22%. This indicates that the headline inflation rate has risen significantly over the past year. The federal government has launched Mineral Resources Decision Support System to boost ease of doing business in the mining sector. The Minister of Solid Minerals, Dr. Dele Aleke, stated that the portal underscores the commitment of the federal government to expanding access of prospective investors to necessary information on Nigeria's mineral deposits and policies guiding the mining sector. Uyi Abumaregbe has the details.
The Minister of Solid Mineral Development says the support system will assist critical stakeholders in the mining sector and potential investors to garner requisite information. This, he added, will bring them closer to the industry and provide answers to pertinent questions about mineral deposits and mining infrastructure, among others.
Is to launch the Nigerian Minerals Resource Decision Support System, which is a marketing strategy. If you look at it in brass tacks, it's a marketing strategy. Is to enhance the ease of doing business in the solid mineral sector. Before now, if you are a foreign investor, a potential investor, and you needed information, very critical information about the sector, More often than not, you had to travel to Nigeria with the contingent resources that you would expend, your travel expenditure, your accommodation, transportation, and associated costs. And that was enough to even discourage the most enterprising investor. So we decided to create or contribute our own quota to the ease of doing business in the solid mineral sector.
On his part, Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo noted that the launch of the Mineral Resources Decision Support System is a game changer that will attract more foreign investments. The Nigeria Mineral Resource Decision Support System is a comprehensive software platform that serves as a one-stop shop for investors seeking credible and decisive information about Nigeria's mineral resources, facilities, and infrastructure. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
The federal government has charged tax practitioners to work harder in getting more revenue from taxes, stressing that tax revenue is currently the highest income source for the Federation. It disclosed this through the Accountant General of the Federation, Olawatoyini Marvin, at the 26th Annual Tax Conference of the Chartered Institute of Taxation in Nigeria, Abuja, with their theme, Sustainable Tax Culture and Economic Roadmap for Nation Building. The government pointed out that based on the current high revenue from taxes, members of the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee were always looking forward to the figures from the Federal Inland Revenue Service every month in order to have funds to share to the three tiers of the government. And our Sokoto State Governor Hamid Aliyu said that the state internally generated revenue has risen from 2.6 billion naira to 3.8 billion naira in less than a year. He dropped these hints while addressing the annual conference of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, which took place in Abuja. According to him, the improvement recorded in the state IGO resulted from the measures introduced by his administration on tax collection and management. A federal capital territory high court in Abuja on Wednesday granted the immediate past governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, bail of 300 million naira following his arrangement on the unlawful redesign of the naira note. Emefiele was accused of approving the printing of 684.5 million naira at the rate of 18.96 billion naira. Emefiele refused any wrongdoing as he pleaded not guilty to all four count charges raised to him by the Prosecution Economic and Financial Crimes Commission before Justice Marian Aniet. Emefiele counsel Mahmoud Magaji San moved for his client bail application after the prosecution had finished reading of the charge. She granted him the bail to the sum of 300 million naira and two sureties. When I'm joined, Kiko Limokere for more updates on business news.
And welcome to Business Report on Prime News. In April 2024, the headline inflation rate rose to 33.69%, up from 33.20% in March 2024, marking an increase of 0.49 percentage points, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. Comparing year-on-year data, the inflation rate in April 2024 was 11.47 percentage points higher than in April 2023, where it stood at 22.22%. This indicates that the headline inflation rate has risen significantly over the past years. Additionally, on a month-to-month basis, the inflation rate for April 2024 was 2.29%, which is 0.73% lower than the 3.02% recorded in March 2024. This suggests that the rate at which prices increased in April 2024 was lower than the rate in March 2024. The exchange rate for the Nigerian custom duty collections has risen to 1,502 naira to $1, the highest in 7 weeks, going back to 22nd of March 2024, when the figure stood at 1,572 naira to $1. This is according to the Nigerian Customs Service Portal for Trade, where the exchange rate has increased from 1,457 naira to $1 to its current figure of over the 2 days period. This recent increase in the exchange rate for duties collection by the NCS reflects the prevailing rate in the foreign exchange market. Over the past weeks, Naira has seen a sharp decline, dropping by roughly 11% in the official market. This significant decrease highlights the ongoing difficulty in stabilizing Nigerian currency. The Naira continued its decline across the country on official forex markets, depreciating to a new low of 1,540 Naira per dollar on the parallel market, despite a falling US dollar index. However, it gained some ground in NAFEX market, appreciating by 0.39% from 1,455 Naira to a dollar to 1,449 Naira against the greenback. Recent price action shows the Naira failed to hold its ground at the critical 1,500 Naira support level on the black market, despite the dwindling value of the US dollar dropping to a new low for March. Shareholders of Berger Paints Nigeria PLC has endorsed the recommendation of the Board of Directors for a dividend of 232 million Naira for the financial year 2023, up from 203 million Naira paid in 2022. The shareholder approved the company's 64th annual general meeting held in Lagos. The dividend was ratified by the shareholders and amounts to a dividend of 0.8 kobo per share for its shareholder. The dividend brings the final dividend for the review period to 1 Naira per share. The directors had approved and paid an interim dividend of 20 kobo per share during the year on issued share capital of 289,823,447 ordinary share of 50 kobo each. Addressing shareholder at the AGM, the company's chairman, Abi Aida, explained that adherence to many sustainability initiatives enhanced the company's performance in the review period. Aida also attributed the stellar performance to 5 key pillars: product innovation, market expansion, operational efficiency, customer experience, as well as strategic partnership. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television.
On sport news, the Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University, Professor Ibiyemi Bello, says the Lagos own institution will host the best Federation of African University Sport Festival. Later, you made this revelation during a press briefing to address the media on the update and preparation for the Sport Festival Games Start Lagos 2024. He stated that this edition of the Games holds historically significance as it marks the first ever joint hosting by 2 universities. We now join Anthony Momodu for more updated sports news.
Welcome to Sports News Update. Talking boxing, Alexander Usyk has revealed that he prevented a bloody battle by ordering his team, which includes Ukrainian soldiers, not to retaliate after John Fury had butted one of his team. Tyson Fury's father began the week of his son's fight with Usyk to become the first undisputed world heavyweight champion of the 4-belt era by rounding on the smallest member of the opposing security detail, who were screaming their man's name. Pep Guardiola hit Stefan Ortega after the reserve goalkeeper took Manchester City to within 90 minutes of creating history. Erling Haaland's double put City in the ascendancy going into Sunday's final day, with the opportunity to become the first English club to lift a 4th straight top-flight title. But the champions were indebted to Ortega for a stunning late save from Heung-min Son after Edison was forced off with an eye injury. The German stood tall moments before Haaland's second goal in stoppage time. City will be crowned champions should they beat West Ham at the Etihad, but Guardiola sounded a warning after they almost blew the title 2 years ago at home against Aston Villa. Bayern Munich and Inter Milan are reportedly interested in Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes is under contract at Old Trafford until 2026, but it is believed to be open to a move, particularly if United do not qualify for Europe. Teammates fear he could up sticks after 4.5 years at the club. As per the Manchester United Evening News, Fernandes, 29, is having a decent season, having scored 15 goals and created 11 others, although his leadership leadership has also been criticized by Roy Keane. Bayern think they can't tempt him because he is increasingly frustrated at United, while Inter are also interested, according to the Independent. Only 3 players are reportedly saved from the chop this summer: Kobe Manu, Alexander Garnacho, and Rasmus Holland. Every player has a price, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe could be tempted to let go of Fernandes if a bidder named the right sum. Arne Slot's final assistant, Spiker Horst Schoff, has told the Dutch national side he will not work with Ronald Koeman's number 2 for their upcoming Euros 2024 campaign, with the expectation he will join his colleagues at Liverpool. While Slot's appointment has not yet been confirmed, it appears the Dutchman is edging closer to succeeding Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool and could even take Klopp's house in Merseyside, well as the German's job. According to reports, his assistant coach Horst Schoff has announced his resignation from the Netherlands coaching setup as the final coach looks set to follow Slot to Liverpool. And that's how we call it a wrap on the sports news update. I am Anthony Momodu.
And just before we round up the news, let's take a look at entertainment news that Samuel Odi has more for us.
It is no secret that street pop singer Portable is as controversial as he's entertaining. Since his rise to fame with his 2021 hit single, Zazu, his name has never been far from the news and social media headlines. The singer was recently arrested for failing to pay the remaining 40 million debt he incurred after buying a 27 million G-Wagon from a car dealer. But this is far from his first altercation with the law in his career. Nollywood actress and filmmaker Funke Akindele has announced her upcoming film, Finding Me, with a transition video featuring Nollywood actors Femi Adebayo and Joseph Benjamin. She revealed the film is titled in 2 transition videos she posted on her Instagram on Tuesday. She revealed the film title in 2 transition videos she posted on her Instagram. This transition video showed the popular actors changing their outfits from a suit to a native attire and ending it with the film's Finding Me t-shirt. The upcoming film will be produced through the Funke Akindele Network, a production company owned by Akindele. However, details about the film, plot, and release date remain unknown. And that's on entertainment.
As we wrap up the Global News Prime, let's take a look at the top stories. President Tinubu flags off inaugural airlift of 2024 intending pilgrims. Former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele has been granted 300 million naira bail as he denied 684.5 million naira note printing. Federal government has disclosed that tax is now the highest revenue source to government. At a front in Ukraine, President Zelensky has cancelled his foreign trips as Russia attacks northeast of the country. And a sport with audio, Lagos State University is scheduled to co-host Best Federation of African University Sports Festival. And that's a package of News Prime coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms displayed on the screen. I'm Edika Mike. Many thanks for watching. See you again.